Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Hump Day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Focus. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. We're fuzzy. Hang on. Still fuzzy, huh? What's going on there? There we go. Like that light streaming down on top. That's distracting. Oh, well. All right. Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Brock, Parrish, Unique Physique, Restored Motions, Bocock. You know the drill. Sponsors, linked in the description on YouTube. I'll get them tagged on Facebook. Thanks for being here with us, y'all. Appreciate y'all for hanging out this morning on a busy day. Verge Ausberry named the full-time athletic director. He's had the interim tag drop. Now, nothing official from LSU, but my show was ending last night, AFR, and I got a text from someone to call me as soon as my show ended, and naturally did, and was told that they're dropping the interim tag. So Wade Roos, the new president, made that decision. It sure sounds to me like they felt there had to be some urgency because of the coaching search. And I think that everyone was saying the right things. I think Verge was saying the right things. This is LSU, and people are interested. And and I believe that in part. But I also got the sense to talk to some other folks that is still a pretty big objection, not having an athletic director. Because how can you hire a coach if they don't know who their boss is going to be? I'll keep going back to that. Like, it might sound so simple, but it's true. Like, who would take that job not knowing who their boss is going to be? Like, coaches want to work for athletic directors that hired them. Look, there were coaches on campus that were not excited. They're very upset about Scott Woodward. What happened there? I mean, and I can remind you that last Thursday, LSU women's basketball had an exhibition, and Kim Mulkey didn't go to the post-game press conference. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think Kim Mulkey didn't go? Why do you think they sent Bob Starkey instead of Kim Mulkey? Because she was going to get asked about it, and Kim don't bite her tongue. And who's the coach that hired, or who's the AD that hired her? Scott Woodward. So he gets treated like that, gets run out of town. Come on. All that to say, I think is very important. Is very important for LSU going through this coaching search to have a full-time athletic director. What's going on with that light? I don't love that. Whatever. This thing. You know, I'm turning that off. It's just distracting me now. Which one it is? Is that one? Is that one, or was it the other one? Yeah, it's good enough. That was distracting me. Just that light beam on my face. Whatever. So anyway, I think it's very important for LSU to hire a full-time AD. Wade Roos gets confirmed as the new president, and so he got confirmed as the president. The board voted just before lunch. Then they broke for lunch. They came back from lunch and announced him at like 1:00. At 5:00, they had a ceremony, a reception for him in Stadium Club at LSU at Tiger Stadium. And as I understand it, that's where the word started to spread that he was dropping the interim tag. And so that's, a short time after that, like 6:00, like, I got off air at 6 and boom, I put it the news. Like that's when we got the word. So LSU is going to issue an official release. I don't know if it'll be today. I was told in the coming days is when they'll make it official. But it's very important. I think, and I did a podcast on it. Locked on LSU is live. Verge is supremely qualified. He's been in that athletic department for 30 years, man. And look, a lot of people, you want to be an AD, you take a different route. You leave LSU to go be the AD at a smaller school and you job hop and all that sort of stuff. But Verge is an LSU guy from New Iberia, played at LSU, has been part of LSU's athletic administration for 3 decades. I guess 4 decades, more than 30 years, but in the 90s, 2000s, 10s, and 20s. So for parts of 4 decades, not 40 years, but parts of 4 decades. So that's official. Now you have your university president, you have your athletic director. Now you can go hire a head coach, and whoever the head coach is going to be knows who they're going to be working for. So we'll see what direction they go. All right. Also, yesterday, NFL trade deadline is come and gone. Saints move Rashid Shaheed to Seattle. They get a 4 and a 5, 4th-round pick and 5th-round pick this year. And they traded Trevor Penning for a 2027 6th-round pick. Oh, Gumsmack and Mick. Remember, that was the draft where you took Olave and Penning both in the 1st round. So you gave up future assets to get 2 first-round picks that year, and you busted on both of them. I mean, most GMs wouldn't survive that. Mickey Loomis, like a cockroach. Just can't kill him. Jay Thompson, what up, Jacob? Good morning. Trivia, good morning. SPC 1689, great for Verge. Now let's keep Frank, keep the staff together, have fun watching LSU football again. Here's what I think is going to happen. I don't know. I do not know this. I'm giving you an opinion. Okay, I'm always going to tell you if I'm giving you an opinion or what I think I know. I think they're going to shoot their shot with Lane Kiffin, and if they don't land there, then I think there's a really good chance you see Frank, Kelvin Shepherd, because I just don't know that. Like, is it really worth paying Eli Drinkwitz what you'd have to pay him? When you can potentially get someone, maybe you keep Frank, and look, Frank, it's really going to depend on how the next 4 games go, right? I mean, if they lose bad to Bama and Oklahoma, he goes 2-2, he's not getting the job. If he goes and wins this weekend, it's okay. Go and win this weekend, all of a sudden you got action. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Brian, good morning. Tiger Poppy, happy hump day. Pulls up if LSU wins versus Bama. Yes. I shouldn't have said yes. But yes. Yes. It will be really cold. But yes. Hey, Randy. Great interview yesterday. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, appreciate Verge for coming on the show yesterday. It was interesting. So Verge had the press conference Friday. The first interview he did subsequent to that press conference was on my show yesterday. And then an hour after he's on my show, the interim tag gets dropped. Hey, Brian, good morning from almost Montgomery. Do you think we have a realistic shot of getting Nick? So, I mean, I asked Verge Ausberry that yesterday on AFR, and he said he thinks that ship sailed. So I said he and Nick talk every 2 to 3 weeks. They have a great friendship. And I think that's more, they'll consult with him. And if you're consulting with Nick, I think Nick is going to tell you to hire Lane Kiffin. And so I think it's more realistic they hire Lane Kiffin than Nick Saban. With the AD hired, where you leaning for head coach? I mean, I think they will shoot their shot with Kiffin. I think the really interesting thing that the really interesting thing Verge said yesterday on the show on AFR was that head coaching experience was preferred but not required, and he said he would be willing to wait to the college football playoff for the right candidate. Meaning, if they got to wait beyond the December signing period and the January portal period to get the right guy, they will. Pelicans make me sad. Oh, look at Joe Dumar on the phone. What a great picture. They did win, by the way. If they hadn't won yesterday against Charlotte, I don't know when they would win. Seriously. Hey, Patrick. Good morning, Matt and Drew. Currently on a charter bus with Mandeville High Marching Band headed to McNeese for the state competition. Go Skippers. All right. Well, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Hope everybody performs their best and has a great time. Make some lifelong memories. That's awesome. Y'all be safe. Hey, what's going on? Good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Matt. If a team plays a ranked opponent during the regular season and then the final AP ranking, that team isn't ranked, is that a ranked win? Sorry, that's confusing. I know exactly what you're saying. And the answer is yes, it's a ranked win. Now, and I get why you asked the question, and I've always thought the same thing. However, remember, part of the reason they wouldn't be ranked anymore is because you beat them. So, but yes, I think that's why you have to take ranked wins with a grain of salt. For example, LSU beat Clemson to open the season. That's a top 10 win for LSU. Well, Clemson is no longer ranked and they have a losing record, right? That's not really a top 10 team. But when you beat them, they were a top 10 team. So, anyway. Hey, Brian, I like Verge getting the AD spot. It gives some stability. Yes, stability, important. You maintain a lot of continuity within the athletic department. And I don't know any more ways I could say it. Like, I think sometimes we have it in our head, like you want the big splash hire, like go get the proven candidate, like you did with Scott Woodward, obviously. And you could have done with Josh Brooks from Georgia. Verge Ausberry is supremely qualified to do this job. And an LSU guy, not that that's a prerequisite, but if you tell me, like, if they would have gone, like there was some talk about the president, Wade Roos, wanting to bring Heath Schroyer with him from McNeese. And I've heard only good things about Heath Schroyer. I've met him once, but good energy, good dude, good fundraiser, all that stuff. But I prefer Verge, a guy that's been at LSU for 3 decades, that knows everything about everything within that athletic department, that's been part of searches, that played at LSU. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Calypso Coyote, morning, Matt. That's Matt. What's going on, Matt? Good morning. Let's see. One more day at work. I'll be free. Ride along, suck. I know what I'm doing. Don't need to be micromanaged. Whole office being micromanaged. Sorry to hear that, man. You'll get through it. Hey, Bradlin, good morning. Love you too. Thank you for being there. Abner Neal, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Corey, good morning. Rex, good morning. Christian, good morning. Out of curiosity, do you feel much of this would have been avoided if Kelly got rid of various coordinators when people were complaining about the offensive struggles? It's an interesting question. I think seriously, I'm like, if after Vanderbilt, let's say hypothetically, if after the Vanderbilt loss, they had fired Joe Sloan. Yeah, I do. I think you would have made those changes. And I think honestly, if Kelly was still the coach, he probably would have made those changes coming out of the bye into this week. Um, but yeah, I do. Hey, Jesse. Brian, what's our realistic option for head coach now? We can rule out Saban and Lanning. Well, I mean, I've given you what I think is the list. I mean, I think Kiffin will be their main target. I think you have a combination of Eli Drinkwitz, Dan Mullen, John Summerall, Kenny Dillingham, that group. And then you've got Frank Wilson and Kelvin Shepard. And I think you have to ask yourself, like, if you can't get Kiffin, like let's say Kiffin's your target. If you can't get Kiffin, is it worth spending what you'd have to spend to get Drinkwitz or Mullen or whoever? And is the gap that big between those guys and either keeping Frank Wilson or or hiring Kelvin Shepard or someone like that? I think that's the question they're really going to have to answer. Hey, Mike, good morning. Listening for a while. First time commenting. Love that. Thanks, Mike. Well, welcome to the comment section, man. Great to have you here every single day. We appreciate you, man. What effect will this affect Jay Johnson and Jay Clark? I think only positively. Because Verge is liked and respected. I trying to decide what I want to say here. I think those are two guys that I know those are two guys, along with Kim Mulkey, that really love and respect Scott Woodward. I mean, he hired him. And so there was a lot of uneasiness when the guy that hired you is no longer there. So I think having Verge in that spot is very important because it does maintain a lot of continuity with a lot of your coaches. All right, hang on one second.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish Built. Parish Built. Parish Built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right. Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, if you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. Love to help you out with that free, no obligation roofing inspection. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Unique physique and unique aesthetics and wellness. Remember, y'all help spread the word. $8 unit Botox. That is the lowest prices you will find quite literally anywhere. It's not a flash sale. It's not a one-time sale. It's not an entry offer. It's an everyday offer. $8 unit Botox at Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. And then, of course, also Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Book a session with Crystal Poche. You got pain. She'll get you out of it. Thomas, I was wondering, hadn't seen you yet. I'm glad you're there. I was really wondering if I was like, did Thomas miss today? Does the count still count if Thomas isn't here? No, we don't have to wonder. Man. All right, let me go a little quickly here. We got 10 minutes. Love the hire, Patrick, and did my Locked On podcast if you want to go listen to it. I know I've asked you all this before as well. Thanks to everybody who's on Locked On LSU. A lot of people love to watch YouTube. I'm very grateful that even if you watch on YouTube, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app to Locked On LSU. Even if you prefer to watch, that's great. It helps tremendously if you go subscribe on the audio part. All right. Hey, John Paul Haddon, good morning. Brian, hoping to hear from Landry again about anything related to LSU football. I think that would behoove him as well. Like, I mean, he got what he wanted. He got Wade Roos in as president, who, by the way, Terrio was on that committee, and Terrio told me that Roos was the most impressive guy and would have gotten it anyway. I believe him. Brian's a smart guy and went through that whole process, so that's fantastic. Look, I love LSU because I went to LSU. I'm an alum, and I'm not one of those people who's like, you didn't go there, so you can't be a fan. That's not my point. But 99.9% of the people in the state did not attend LSU. So most people don't care who the president of the university is. Everyone cares about the football coach and the AD and all that stuff. So the point being, like, what the governor wanted was his guy. He wanted all his people in. He wanted his guy in as president. He obviously wanted Scott out as AD. I guess the point is, like, there's a way to do it tactfully and get what you want, but the way he went about doing it created so much dissension and such negative publicity that if he'd just been more tactful, he could have got what he wanted anyway and done so in a more tactful way. But because he was so out front about it, it created a lot of uneasiness all over the place. So sometimes you need your leaders to just be tactful. Patrick, yes, Baton Rouge traffic does suck. Hey, Brad, good morning. Remember the 2019, you said Richard Lipsey was most responsible for getting a leave of fire. Did he have any part of paying Kelly's buyout? They haven't paid Kelly's buyout yet. They're just still paying him as if he were still there. And as I understand, and not as I understand it, Brad, they're not paying his buyout. But yes, Richard Lipsey was a big part in, former president of the board, owner of Lipsey's, one of the richest men in the state. He was a big influencer in getting both King Alexander and Joe Oliva out. Lipsey's a guy that loves LSU, not just LSU sports. I mean, that's a guy that is deeply connected and rooted to and loves the university. Hey, Chris, good morning, Matt. How is Verge in comparison to other ADs? Well, we don't know because Verge has never been an AD, but he's done just about everything you can imagine within the athletic department for 30 plus years. Scone, why isn't Drinkwitz getting more attention? Great offensive guy, brought Mizzou back. Blake Baker loves him. I think there's a possibility there. I think my reservation on Drinkwitz is you can look at the wins and losses, and that's impressive. I also look at how Missouri has structured their schedule. And they've done it in a way to where they are basically padding their stats. For example, their non-conference this year was Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana Lafayette, and UMass. Like they don't challenge themselves at all in the non-conference. Last year was Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and UMass. So you look at their Power 4 requirement, Kansas, Boston College. They played Kansas State in 2023. They went to Kansas State in 2022 and lost 40-12. Right? I mean, they just, home and home with Boston College. COVID year was all SEC. They were 5-5. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, I'm not super impressed when you stockpile 4 games on your schedule with automatic wins, and then you go 5-3 in the conference, lose to the 3 best teams on your schedule, win a bowl game, and you're at 10. You're like, oh, look, 10 wins. I mean, I have reservations as to whether or not he could be the guy to get you over the hump that you're trying to get to. Morning, Scone. There you go. There you go. Excited to see how Verge does. Going to miss Shaheed Penning, not so much. I mean, how about that, man? A future 6th round pick for Trevor Penning. Christian, good morning. Your interview with Verge was about 30 minutes premature of you being able to start it with a congrats. Great interview, though. Yeah. Just like that, LSU has alignment again. It's true. And that was something that at the time Verge came on the show, That had not yet been decided or told him, as I understand it, that they were dropping the interim tag. Wade Roos made that decision subsequent. And I think it's important. I think it was very important. So you've got your university president now. You've got your full-time athletic director now. You got chancellor on the campus now, for the first time since 2012, because they had combined the roles. So they're split now for the first time since 2012. And now go hire a coach. Yep. Also, it is basketball game day. Hot seat year for Coach McMahon. 4 years, a long time to give a basketball coach one winning season. Well, that's true. You also have to give them the resource to be able to win. And I think this year they should be better this year. They went and spent on the roster. Let's see how they do. There you go, Thomas. Got it. Jason, suck it, Dale. Brad, do you think it'd be smart for the Saints to draft Indiana's quarterback? Sure. I would think if you're drafting at the top and you pick a quarterback, I think Mendoza from Indiana or Ty Simpson from Alabama would be my two choices. Corey, looks like a box of golf balls. Is that what it is? My ADHD is acting out. A box of golf balls. Where? Oh, this? No, this is this is a cigar box. Now, these sold out, but this was the limited edition national championship cigar box from Bocock Brothers. So you cannot get this one anymore. However, you can get still this one, the Powerhouse cigars. So the Powerhouse. And then that's a box of the World Travelers, Bocock Brothers. So they're just stacked against it like that. So that's what that is. It's a cigar box. Let's see. Survivor's Morris. Glad the agent thing was mentioned because I thought it was crazy. BK, Nuss, Scott all have the same agent. A struggling or hurt quarterback continues to play when BK is known for pulling quarterback at Notre Dame. I don't understand the point. I'm not getting your point. John, Matt, getting all the scoops lately with the governor and Verge. Great job. You know, John, the interesting thing is I've been around the LSU beat for a long time that I've always gotten information. I just was never interested in breaking news. It just never served me. Well, since we have, so whenever I got leads, I would kick them to people that I trust, that I knew would do a good job with the information. But since we launched LouisianaSports.net, we have to be a news site as well. So yes, I am being far more aggressive in pursuing news. Do you think having Austin Thomas alleviates Nick's distaste for this era? He doesn't have to deal with NIL. I remember he said he had a third screen coming in his office demanding more money. I think you mean third string. Maybe. I still don't think Nick's coming out of retirement. Anyway. Joel, wow, Roos did his due diligence on the AD position record time. God must be a miracle worker. So, Joel, if you don't think they were already having those conversations, you're kidding yourself. Wade Roos becoming the president of LSU is surprising as the sun rising today. This was the handpicked choice by the governor. This was always going to be pushed through. And those conversations had already been had. And I can also tell you that two things. I know for a fact that 2 days ago, Roos had a very long conversation with another potential candidate. So he did vet candidates. And also despite what the message is publicly in that press conference last Friday, and even what Verge said yesterday on the show, I do believe that they were getting pushback from agents and coaches in this coaching search because they didn't have a full-time AD. So in order to really progress with the coaching search, they had to hire an athletic director. And they made a good hire. Okay. I got to go. Matt, great interview with Verge. Thoughts on Kelvin Shepherd? I would love Kelvin. In my thoughts on this coaching search, dramatically different than any other coaching search because of the era. I just don't think you have to be the $100 million coach with 300 wins. We just saw that. You have to be someone who can win in this era. Oregon hired Dan Lanning, first-time head coach. Georgia hired Kirby Smart, first-time head coach. Notre Dame hired Marcus Freeman, first-time head coach. Oklahoma went Bob Stoops, Lincoln Riley, Brent Venables, all first-time head coaches. Like, it can be done if you get the right guy. So get the right guy. All right, I got to go. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Locked on LSU is live. I got my full reaction to Verge being named AD. And if you missed the recap of my interview with Verge yesterday, the high points of that, that's on Locked on LSU right now. AFR 3. We'll see you. Peace.